Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker. It's great to have you along this week, and I have to tell you right off the top, the show is a little like Thanksgiving dinner. We're going to push the limits here. As a matter of fact, we're going past the limits. I'll say that right up front. Just like David Letterman used to say, alert the networks because we're going long today. We can't possibly confine this show to just 30 minutes because we've got awards to hand out for players, athletes, and coaches in all of the fall sports. So we'll hit football, soccer, volleyball, and cross country before we're through. So don't go anywhere. And a reminder, even though the Herald Mail Insiders will be here, that these awards today are exclusive to Inside Sports. This is the pick on Inside Sports. May not be the pick that you'll see in the newspaper coming up the week of December 5th through the 11th. So just keep that in mind. These are exclusive awards to Inside Sports. In addition, we also have, we've got state champions in volleyball, and we'll show and tell you all about them before the show is over too. But let's get into the awards. We begin with golf, and last year it was Brett Bayle of Smithsburg who was our golfer of the year. This year it's Brett Bayle of Smithsburg who's our golfer of the year. The junior this season competed 16 times, 15 times he was Smithsburg's low scorer. His average 9-hole total this year, 37.9, and a tremendous teammate. He helped lead Smithsburg to the county team title and back to states for the first time in 6 years. Individually at states, Bayle was tremendous. He was the only one of the 6 Washington County golfers who qualified to make the cut on day 1, shooting a 77, to come back on day 2, where he shot a 74 for a 2-day total of 151, good for a tie for 4th in the state and the best among all 1A competitors. Congratulations to Brett Bayle, now a 2-time Inside Sports Golfer of the Year. When you come back, we'll talk about exactly how the state volleyball championships went down. Smithsburg and Williamsport with a chance to bring home titles. We'll let you know how they did in just a moment.
Champions are not merely born, they're forged in the crucible that is flag football. With equal parts turf, pigskin, and heart. That's why Buffalo Wild Wings donates to boys and girls clubs across the country to not only help thousands of kids learn about teamwork on and off the field, but to help them fulfill their destiny. To shred defensive lines, terrorize the secondary, and emerge bonded as true champions.
It's here. It's breathtaking. It's ultra fast. Gigabit Internet. Fiber to your home. Fiber to your business. And Tatum Cable, making Hagerstown a gigabit city.
At Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period. We're the largest Ford store in the tri-state area. #1 for only one reason. We charge less, period. Hagerstown Ford delivers. We'll bring your new ride to you and do the whole deal sitting at your kitchen table. Easy peasy. Get more for your trade, easy on-the-spot financing, and the lowest prices on the East Coast guaranteed. And if we can't beat their deal, we'll buy that car for you. Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. Before I hand out the invisible volleyball hardware, I still have state championship business to handle, or should I say, Williamsport and Smithsburg still had state championship business to handle when we left off with their respective quests for titles last week. While Smithsburg had already clinched its spot in Saturday's 1A state final, Williamsport was readying for its 2A state semifinal Thursday evening versus the region champions from the south, the Calvert Cavaliers. The Wildcats appeared well on their way to putting Calvert in a 1-0 hole by building a 17-13 advantage, but the Cavaliers turned the tables by scoring 12 of the set's final 17 points to put Williamsport down 1-0. In the second game, 2 consecutive aces by the Cats' Caitlin Murphy snapped a 6-6 tie, and Williamsport used that momentum to spurt away to an 18-11 lead, only to see Calvert reel off 8 of the next 9 points to knot it at 19 and then go ahead 22-20. It was the Wildcats, though, who would reverse fortunes for the final time in the set, finishing with a 5-1 run that evened the match at 1 apiece. In the pivotal third set, Williamsport climbed out of an early 4-1 hole, opened up a 13-6 lead, and then withstood yet another late Calvert charge to turn back the Cavs 25-20 and go up 2-1 in the match. Then in the fourth set, the one Williamsport hoped to make the last after Calvert closed to within 20-19, the Cats won 5 of the next 6 points to close out the game 25-20 and the match 3-1 to advance to their 20th championship final and their first since they last won it all back in 2012. And so the showdown for the 2A state championship was set for high noon on Saturday at Ritchie Coliseum. It was the undefeated East Region and defending state title holders, the Rising Sun Tigers, represented by this guy, opposing the Wildcats, winners of 5 in a row and 9 of the last 10 coming in, represented by this guy. While the Tiger looked lifeless in the stands, the Tigers looked anything but on the floor, piecing together a 9-1 run that had Williamsport down 9-3. But Williamsport wasn't fazed and proceeded to chip away, taking its first lead since 2-1 at 23-21, with Kiara Lewis behind the service line for 5 successive points. Then, knotted at 23, a Rising Sun service error preceded this ensuing Tiger error as the Wildcats remarkably finished the opening set on a 22-14 run to take a 1-0 lead. In the second set, there were 3 ties, the last at 14 all, but Williamsport never trailed en route to ringing up 11 of the set's final 15 points to win it 25-18. With the Wildcats poised to end Rising Sun's perfect season and run for back-to-back state titles, Williamsport had the Tigers as deep on the ropes as they could possibly get. But even after squandering a 24-21 lead in a set that featured 15 ties, the reigning and defending champs found a way to fend off 4 match points before pulling out an epic 31-29 set 3 triumph to send it to the fourth with Williamsport's edge cut in half. And set 4 proved to be anticlimactic compared to the third. Following 5 early ties, Rising Sun took an 8-7 lead and never trailed again in prevailing 25-18 to force a 5th and deciding game. With the state title at stake, the Tigers toted all the momentum into that final set and staked themselves to a 9-8 lead, but that's when Williamsport called on it again. Something as sophomore Kiara Lewis said afterwards has carried them through adversity all season long.
Our word for the whole season has been resilience, and that's what this team is. It's not just a word we're saying. We define it. We define resilience. That's what this team is.
And by utilizing their resilience and a final 7-2 run, the other term that defines these Cats is state champions. As Lewis added, there was something very familiar to her and her teammates about how they accomplished that feat on Saturday.
This whole game was like a roller coaster of the whole season put together because we've experienced losses, we've experienced fights over 25, and we've experienced winning.
But after having won just 5 of their first 9 matches to start the season, senior Devin Grossbeck couldn't help but reflect on how the Wildcats overcame the odds and perceptions.
I think it's a bigger accomplishment because of how far we came, and that's what's most important. I don't think it would mean so much to me if we didn't do so well in the beginning of the season, and now we proved people wrong that might have doubted us. It's definitely going to be something that's unforgettable, but it hasn't sunk into me yet, no.
And just how did it happen? How did it turn around? First-year varsity head coach Karen Moyer learned the power of talent and that talent's collective power.
I had big shoes to fill, and we had a ton of talent on our team. We have a ton of talent on our team. So when we were hitting mid-season and things weren't clicking, there was a bit of pressure, and our spirit got broken a little bit naturally. So the girls all came together and identified affirmations that we could all collectively put together as a team, and that became our team creed. The girls started believing in themselves, trusting each other, and the natural talent was just able to come through. And to watch that happen is really special.
And while all is well that ends in a state championship, according to Moyer, even with perhaps a little destiny on Williamsport's side, actually wearing that state championship crown is quite a feeling.
It's surreal right now to me. There are so many little things that were happening over the course of this week, dates that were in common when we played in 2012 as a coach. In 1995, when we played, the team that we played was undefeated. Today, we came into sort of the same scenario. So it was just so many different things playing out. So it's just really amazing. My heart is full. That's the best way I can describe it. Congratulations to the Wildcats on their record-tying 14th state volleyball title.
Now, while Williamsport discovered that state championships are a meritocracy, meaning that they're not given, they're earned, Smithsburg had earned 11 of them, 6 in the last 7 years and 2 in a row, entering Saturday evening's 1A state title match. Because most of them for the Leopards had come fairly easily at the University of Maryland, and facing the Perryville Panthers, the school Smithsburg had come in 4-0 against, and to which it had never even lost a set, many likely expected a Leopard cakewalk to a three-peat. And set 1 further fueled that fire of an effortless Smithsburg romp when the Leopards bolted out to an 18-7 advantage and polished off Perryville 25-19 to chalk up their 13th consecutive set win over Perryville. But that's where the Panthers threw down the gauntlet, and 6-foot middle Gabby Goodnow started putting the ball down. Shockingly, Perryville dominated the second set, winning 25-13 to tie the match at 1. In the third, Smithsburg answered to start, bounding out to a 5-1 lead. However, the Panthers put together a stunning 23-15 run that gave them 4 set points and the chance to take a 2-1 lead on the Leopards. But not so fast. Enter Smithsburg sophomore Sydney Scott. As if she were wearing a cape, Scott started with a kill that pulled the Leopards to within 24-21. Then she stepped behind the service line and was clutch. She didn't leave there until her second ace lifted Smithsburg to a 26-24 third set steal that put the Leopards in a much more enviable position than they had been in 6 points earlier. Of her superhero-like performance that might have just saved the match for Smithsburg, despite the tenuous situation, Scott said she had a game plan.
I knew going back there that it was a lot of pressure, and I like the high pressure situations. I feel like it makes me play better. So I knew going back there I just had to focus on one serve at a time. Even if I didn't ace the team, getting the ball in and letting our team play our defense, our offense get a kill, I was confident that they could do it. So I think that helped me kind of relax a little bit on the serve, not have as much pressure.
And having put all the pressure back on the East Region champions, the Leopards established an early advantage in the fourth set and fought off a late Perryville rally to capture the game 25-20 and the 1A state title 3-1. I asked junior Lauren Daniels afterwards how big it was to have strong representation in attendance to pick the team up when the going got tough.
The student section, the family, friends, I have people that traveled on the road for this. I know that Sydney had family that came down from the road for this, and that is amazing. You know, everyone will come together one night, one time, and support their one team that they know that they make the job done. And the pride is tremendous. Smithsburg has a great community, great tight community. We're always together. We're always supporting each other. So I think that was really important to bring to this game too. It was not only for us, but for the fans and for the family back home.
And those in the town of Smithsburg might have been in the minority when it came to believing this season would end with the state title. I asked Coach Rachel Brashear how much her young team, who started just one senior, grew up on Saturday.
Watching these kids go from our first scrimmage tournament where we got beat by a county foe pretty badly, then to be sitting here tonight, you know, I'm just incredibly proud of them and the growth they've made. This might be a team that I've seen the most growth over my 13 years. This team might be it.
And how about taking over the #1 spot on the list of volleyball state championships won by a Washington County head coach?
We're always chasing greatness, you know, and I always tell the girls that. And it's by no means about me and 7 championships. It's being part of these girls' lives day in and day out and seeing them grow. That is the reward. The 7 championships is really nice, you know, but I don't sit and tally them. You know, I'm just glad to be, I'm just very blessed to be a part of this program and this community.
And all in all, the way this one played out, Brashear didn't hold back on how it rates with the other 6.
This one's pretty sweet, you know, because we lost a set. I've never lost a set here in the state tournament as a player we played a good team, you know, and having them battle back and having to really earn it this year, you know, I really feel like it's one that I'll never forget.
Congratulations to the Leopards on capturing their 12th state volleyball title in school history and Washington County's 18th in the last 16 years. Now that the matches have all been played and the trophies have been placed in their respective cases, when you come back, I give out the awards for Volleyball Player and Coach of the Year. That's next.
When it comes to hearing loss, who will be taking care of you? Audiologist Dr. Karen Hamilton is Hagerstown's hearing doctor, working to improve the quality of life for those with hearing loss. At Audiology Services, Dr. Hamilton focuses on evaluation and diagnosis to provide solutions for treating hearing loss. Using the latest technology, she programs hearing aids to meet your unique needs and ensures they fit properly and comfortably. Audiology Services participates with most insurance companies and will check benefits and file claims on your behalf. Dr. Hamilton and her team also serve the community through Hagerstown Hearing, which focuses on providing crystal clear sound in places such as theaters, churches, offices, and homes. Hagerstown Hearing installs looping systems that allows those with hearing loss to enjoy speech clarity and noise reduction, providing an experience like never before. To learn more about Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, call 301-790-3300. Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, providing crystal clear sound.
It's here. It's breathtaking. It's ultra fast. Gigabit Internet. Fiber to your home. Fiber to your business. Antietam Cable, making Hagerstown a gigabit city.
Welcome back to the show. After an interruption of this awards program by state championship volleyball performances, it's time to return to the original task at hand. After watching Williamsport outside hitter Kiara Lewis win one of those aforementioned state titles, there's no question the sophomore deserves to be part of the Player of the Year conversation. Lewis finished in the top 12 in the county in 4 statistical categories this year and showed why on the biggest stage the 2A classification has to offer. She averaged 21.5 kills, 17.5 digs, and 4.5 aces in her 2 matches at Ritchie Coliseum. Another player who showcased her array of talents there was another sophomore. Smithsburg outside hitter Sydney Scott averaged 17.5 kills and 5.5 aces, categories in which she finished 4th and 5th in the county respectively. Scott relishes the big moment, and that's a big part of the reason she and her Smithsburg teammates captured the 1A state championship this year. For the second year in a row, Heritage Academy celebrated a Mason-Dixon Christian Conference tournament title, and like last year, it was thanks in no small part to a pair of incredibly similar parts. Sophomore outside hitter and setter Michaela Hoy ended the season 1st in the county in points per set, 2nd in aces, and 3rd in both kills and blocks per set. Chances are Hoy's versatility and seemingly natural ability to adapt to wherever she might be playing on the court is rivaled only by her senior teammate. Outside hitter and setter Chloe Prejean concluded her final high school season ranking 1st in the county in aces per set, 4th in points, 6th in kills, and 8th in assists per set. Prejean was named to the American Volleyball Coaches Association Under Armour All-America 3rd team and signed a Division I national letter of intent to continue her career at the University of Maryland next fall. While all 4 of those young ladies had incredible seasons, there's only one whose season is worthy of Inside Sports Player of the Year, and that is North Hagerstown senior Nicole Murray. After the Hubs graduated 2015 IS Player of the Year Jayla Bell and other critical contributors from last season's 14-3 team, there weren't many who figured North would do much. But head coach Megan Crawford knew what she had in the returning Murray, and Murray nearly had enough to get North to states for the first time in 2 years. The middle hitter finished the year as the county leader in kills per set, was 2nd in blocks and points, and was also 5th in digs. In the postseason, she averaged 21 kills per match and hammered down 28 of them in her final contest against Damascus in the 3A West final. On the strength of Murray's athleticism, heart, and all-around game, the Hubs went 12-5, undefeated in the county, and won a section championship. Congratulations to Nicole Murray, the 2016 Inside Sports Volleyball Player of the Year. Our Coach of the Year is a repeat winner from a season ago. And just like a season ago, she led her team to a state championship. Smithsburg's Rachel Brashear got maximum performance from a roster with minimum experience. Relying heavily on 3 sophomores, a freshman, and a junior, Brashear guided her young Leopards to a county best 19-1 record. This was a season Smithsburg successfully dined on an elephant, and along the way, they savored it one bite at a time. Now the Leopards should probably brush, floss, and congratulate Rachel Brashear, as we do, as the 2016 Inside Sports Volleyball Coach of the Year. Next up, the awards for Runners and Coach of the Year. When you come back, Andy Mason joins me to hand out the cross-country spoils.
Tony's Pizza in Williamsport has had the same simple philosophy since 1985. Start with simple products. Sauce from the best Italian tomatoes. The best cheese and dough made fresh every day. Then mix those with a great atmosphere, and you'll have the best dining experience you can find. Tony's is known for their pasta dishes, subs, pizzas, and specialty items like their Nutella Dots and the famous Crazy Tony. Simply put, they want to give the best food they can give to their customers. So stop in today to Tony's Pizza in Williamsport.
It's here. It's breathtaking. It's ultra fast. Gigabit Internet. Fiber to your home. Fiber to your business. Antietam Cable, making Hagerstown a gigabit city.
Welcome back to the 2016 Inside Sports Fall Award Show. I'm joined now by Herald Mail sports editor Andy Mason. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Good to be back as always, Wes.
Well, here we go, wrapping up cross country for the season. And honestly, in cross country, there aren't a whole lot of mysteries here when it comes down to runners of the year. Starting on the girls' side with Cameron Harper of Boonesboro. I don't think there's any question that she was the best girls runner in the county this season.
Yeah, a real easy pick. She went undefeated all season long against county competition, public and private. She was the public schools county champion, leading Boonesboro to that title. She was the 1A West region champion, leading the Warriors to that title, and then she was placed second at the state championships, leading the Warriors to one more title, the big one, the 2016 Maryland Class 1A state championship.
And head-to-head against the county runners this season, her average distance that she put between them, 29 seconds. So she's certainly burning up the courses out there. And I think next year coming back, boy, Boonesboro is going to have a lot to look forward to in addition to Harper, the reigning Inside Sports Runner of the Year. Also have the 5th place finisher, the 7th place finisher, the 16th place finisher, and the 28th place finisher at state.
Yeah, that's they'll be good again.
Yeah,
and I'm sure Harper's, the one thing she has to do next fall is take that, she wants to take
Right.
that next step and try to get that state title. And
Yeah.
she was my pre-race favorite going into the state championship. And girl from Northern Dare just had the race of her life, but she still got a strong second, and most importantly, led her team to the title.
4 wins this season and really coming on at the end of the season too. So we look for big things from Cameron Harper next year, but congratulations on being the 2016 Inside Sports Female Cross Country Runner of the Year. Now, over on the boys' side, this may have been the slam dunk of all slam dunks. Will Merritt of Smithsburg is the winner.
Oh yeah, I mean, he had a dream season. His season ranks right up there with any season anyone in the history of Washington County's ever had. I mean, he was unbeatable all season long. By county competition. There were 2 races he didn't win. One was at the super prestigious Oatlands Invitational in Virginia where he got 6th, but that's a stacked field, a loaded East Coast race. And he also got 2nd at the Clear Spring Invitational to open the season. Now a boy from Richard Montgomery won both those races, and he was also the Class 4A state champion. And at the state meet, I really wish Merritt got a chance to race him again, because Will has, his claim, his biggest accomplishment of the all season was not only defending his 1A state title, but he had the fastest time of the day of all classifications, including he was about 10 seconds faster than the kid from Richard Montgomery.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see them on the same course at the same time, clearly. But he becomes just the 2nd repeat state champion since 2011, too. So pretty good accomplishment. And then he gets a congratulatory tweet from the sister of the late legendary Steve Prefontaine saying, "Great job on your season."
Yeah, that's really something special.
Yeah, that doesn't happen to everyone. There's no question about that. And his place in county history certainly solidified. And last year, it's hard to believe, last year he was not the runner of the year, but he has just progressed leaps and bounds.
Oh, he's at a whole new level. And what I'm really excited about this whole season is he still has 1 meet left, and it's this Saturday. It's the Foot Locker Northeast Cross Country Championships in New York. He was 53rd at this meet last year, the top Maryland kid. Top 10, he's going to have to make a big improvement though. The top 10 go to nationals 2 weeks later in California. I know he desperately wants one of those spots. He's good enough to contend for one of those spots. That's going to be really exciting because that is a super fast elite race, and we'll see just how where he stacks up on Saturday.
Yeah, well, best of luck to Will there, and congratulations on being the Inside Sports Male Runner of the Year, and hopefully that title doesn't weigh him down too much come Saturday. As far as our Coach of the Year, again, things don't change a whole lot there. Becky Walter of Boonesboro, again, a tremendous season putting together both the boys and the girls teams.
Oh, man, I mean, she does it all.
Yeah.
Who was the county girls champion? Boonesboro. Boys champion? Boonesboro.
Yeah.
The Boonesboro girls won states, and it's not like, it seems like Becky gets this honor a lot, but every year, it's like she has the same group of kids every year, but it's the same formula and it's the same results, and they're fantastic results.
Yeah, just an incredible season for Boonesboro. Congratulations to Becky Walter, our Inside Sports Cross Country Coach of the Year. So that puts a bow on the Inside Sports Cross Country season, Andy. And as far as the Herald Mail is concerned, we'll have all of the county teams, athletes, coaches of the year coming up in the weeks ahead. When does that hit newsstands, and when is that online?
Well, it's going to start December 5th with golf and go all the way to December 11th with football. So that whole week we're going to have our all-county teams. Right. Golf, then cross-country, then soccer, volleyball, and football.
Right. So people certainly will be looking forward to that, and look for that on Herald Mail Media online and also on newsstands. Andy, thanks so much for being here this fall sports season. Look for you back in the winter.
Can't wait.
I'll be back right after this. Kevin Dunleavy joins me. We'll hand out the soccer awards in just a moment.
Champions are not merely born. They're forged in the crucible that is flag football. With equal parts turf, pigskin, and heart. That's why Buffalo Wild Wings donates to boys and girls clubs across the country to not only help thousands of kids learn about teamwork on and off the field, but to help them fulfill their destiny, to shred defensive lines, terrorize the secondary, and emerge bonded as true champions.
At Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period. We're the largest Ford store in the tri-state area. Number one for only one reason. We charge less, period. Hagerstown Ford delivers. We'll bring your new ride to you and do the whole deal sitting at your kitchen table. Easy peasy. Get more for your trade, easy on-the-spot financing, and the lowest prices on the East Coast guaranteed. And if we can't beat their deal, we'll buy that car for you. Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period.
Welcome back to the show. It's time for our soccer awards now. Joining me for that, Herald Mail insider Kevin Dunleavy. Welcome back, Kevin.
Thank you, Wes.
Let's begin with the girls, and some of those that I considered as being worthy of this award. Certainly Michaela Solomon at Goretti, forward there. The senior scored 18 more goals than she scored last year. I mean, that's a major improvement from one year to the next. Most goals by a county girl with 23. Gabby Conrad of Clear Spring. Boy, what a difference a healthy season made for her. 17 goals, a lot of them coming late in the year, but major offensive outbursts from her this season. Faith Garachi, the Boonesboro goalkeeper, just a freshman. She had a terrific job anchoring that Boonesboro team, yielding just 14 goals in 15 games, and her 6 shutouts, second best in the county, to Maddie Gaines, the goalkeeper at Williamsport, the senior first team All-County. With those 7 shutouts, gave up just 10 goals in 17 games, a county best 0.59 goals against average. And then really it came down to me between last year's Inside Sports Player of the Year, Kara Poole at Smithsburg, just a sophomore this year, didn't score as many goals, but I think her role changed a little bit, and she's such a great distributor of the ball too. Doesn't always result in an assist, but the defense sort of collapses on her many, many times, and I think defenses were much more cognizant of her this season. But the girl that I landed on as Player of the Year, Williamsport's Taylor Neff, the junior forward with 15 goals, which accounted for 32% of the total that the county champs scored this season. She also added 8 assists, which ranked her second in the county, and her 38 total points were the most by a public school player this year. So I went with Taylor Neff.
Yeah, that's a good pick. The thing that was interesting about her is to see her game evolve. She really became an all-around player this year. I think in years past she was really a great scorer, but she added a creativity element to her game this year where she set some things up, and once they got on their roll, they won I think 11 straight at one point, and they were really scoring much more so than early in the season. She was a big key to that.
And I think those 11 seniors and the experience that they brought really helped her elevate her game. And as you said, sort of branch out a little bit within the game itself. But Taylor Neff, congratulations, our 2016 Inside Sports Girls Soccer Player of the Year. Our Girls Coach of the Year, Victor Delamea. And in the early part of the season, Smithsburg's head coach didn't look like he was going to be the Coach of the Year at all, but it seemed like he had a strategy as the season unfolded with a very young team. He sort of backloaded that schedule with a lot of tough opponents, and that set them up for playoff success.
Yeah, that seems to be something that that good teams like to do. You know, even if you take your lumps early in the year, they're willing to do it because they know it's going to pay dividends at the end of the year. It certainly did with them.
Yeah, 12-6 overall, winners of 6 of their last 7 and 10 of their last 12 games. Congratulations to Victor Delamea. Now, as far as the boys' players are concerned, candidates there included the 2015 Inside Sports Player of the Year, Harrison Barger of Grace Academy. He continued to lead the Knights in scoring for a 3rd straight year, finished 3rd in the county in goals scored this season. James Searcy at Goretti, the forward with a tremendous sophomore year. He contributed to 65% of the goals that the Maryland Independent School State Tourney champs scored this season, more goals than any other player in the county this year. Billy Wood, goalkeeper at Williamsport, I think flew under the radar a little bit, but when Coach Lynn Mills of Clear Spring was here, anytime that a coach of a rival team mentions a player on another team, you know that guy's pretty good, and Lynn Mills talked about him. Ryan Bowman, the midfielder at Williamsport, tremendous year for him, leading a team that was a cohesive unit all year long, both in setting up goals and scoring goals this season. He was their leader. Joe Miko at Clear Spring, the midfielder there, I think if it weren't for his teammate Jarrett Lozich, he might have been the player of the year. But those two, man, what a duo they created at Clear Spring, and that's why Clear Spring had such a tremendous season. And I go with Jarrett Lozich, the Clear Spring forward. 25 goals this year. He broke a 22-year school record at Clear Spring with the 25 goals, and he's just a dynamo kid who doesn't even play club soccer, but when he gets on the field, that quick burst really puts him in a place where nobody can seem to be able to mark him.
Yeah, he's so fun to watch, and the impressive thing about him talking to coaches both in basketball and soccer is how he's a team guy, and you wouldn't necessarily think of that because you see this dynamic scorer, and but he's tough, and he really kind of leads by example on both the teams that he plays on.
And coming back from a back injury, he was our Inside Sports Player of the Year as a freshman. Now he's the Inside Sports Player of the Year as a junior, and his coach is our Inside Sports Coach of the Year, Lynn Mills. Great season for Clear Spring, making it all the way to the region final.
Yeah, he made a lot of good moves, you know, moving Miko up from defense to the midfield, really kind of keyed their offense. And, you know, part of that was because he had some talent that allowed him to do that. But they really were cohesive and really maximized their talent, and I think that's a great choice.
Yeah, the county champions led by Lynn Mills this season. So those are our soccer awards. Kevin, thank you very much.
Thank you, Wes.
I'll be back right after this with the football hardware. Bob Parsolini joins me for that in just a moment.
When it comes to hearing loss, who will be taking care of you? Audiologist Dr. Karen Hamilton is Hagerstown's hearing doctor, working to improve the quality of life for those with hearing loss. At Audiology Services, Dr. Hamilton focuses on evaluation and diagnosis to provide solutions for treating hearing loss. Using the latest technology, she programs hearing aids to meet your unique needs and ensures they fit properly and comfortably. Audiology Services participates with most insurance companies and will check benefits and file claims on your behalf. Dr. Hamilton and her team also serve the community through Hagerstown Hearing, which focuses on providing crystal clear sound in places such as theaters, churches, offices, and homes. Hagerstown Hearing installs looping systems that allows those with hearing loss to enjoy speech clarity and noise reduction, providing an experience like never before. To learn more about Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, call 301-790-3300. Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, providing crystal clear sound.
It's here. It's breathtaking. It's ultra fast. Gigabit Internet. Fiber to your home. Fiber to your business. And Tatum Cable, making Hagerstown a gigabit city.
Welcome back to the show. We continue now with the final awards to be handed out for fall 2016, and they come from football. And joining me is Herald Mail insider Bob Parsiliti. Welcome back to the show, Bob.
Thanks for having me on.
Just like to remind everybody that these are independent views on the players and coaches. Bob will have his in the newspaper along with the all-county teams coming up December the 11th, but you'll get the Inside Sports version right here and now. And I'd like to start with the Offensive Player of the Year and with some guys who were under strong consideration. First and foremost, South Hagerstown wide receiver Lincoln Akubu, 485 yards receiving this year and 6 touchdowns, and I think he did a great job of helping out his young quarterbacks because the passes weren't always exactly where they needed to be, but oftentimes he went and got them and added another dimension to that offense with the passing game.
Well, he did a great job with the kind of like the skinny post pattern type plays. He caught a couple of touchdowns on that. He was always made himself available to the receiver or to the quarterback. And he was basically, the main guy. Every once in a while they'd look at McCoy Dutrow to kind of mix it up a little bit, but when they needed the money, they went to Lincoln.
It was no coincidence that he wore green because he was the money man for South Hagerstown. Some running backs who were under consideration. Jalen Anderson of St. James, the junior, only played 8 games this year, and yet he still rushed for the second most yardage in the county, 1,141 yards, had 6 100-yard games. 2 of those were 200 plus, and he scored 17 touchdowns. Kayvon Carter at Williamsport, another junior with a terrific season, 15 rushing touchdowns to go with 1,018 yards, 20 total touchdowns, and a county leading 123 points. And then Zach Grams, who isn't just a running back, he's a bulldozer, fullback at Boonesboro, the junior in 11 games this season, 1,445 yards on the ground, first in the county, 20 touchdowns, also led the county, and 7.6 yards per carry, which is almost unheard of for a fullback.
Well, Jalen, when he came in, he was just John Root's hope of starting a running game, and he kind of hit the ground running, I guess. Yeah. And he was just he just became more and more devastating. And with that passing offense as they go around, he really gave a compliment and made defense play them rather honest. With Kayvon, he came on stronger as the season went. He had 6 touchdowns in the final game. He had a great, really pretty good game against Smithsburg. He just kept coming and coming, and Coach Tim Small says his best days are still ahead of him. And what do you say about Grams? I think he set the table for Boonesboro in the early part of the year, and then they developed things around him to enhance things to get to the playoffs. But he was the man for them for a long time.
But the Inside Sports Player of the Year is a guy that never would have thought he'd be at this position this year. Cole Menas from St. James. What a tremendous job he did in 7 games at quarterback, taking over for the injured Tyler Raymond, who was the 2015 Inside Sports Player of the Year, completing 58.1% of his passes, 1,145 yards through the air, second in the county, 17 touchdowns, most in the county, and then that dimension of running the ball and running it hard, 904 yards on the ground, averaging 8.5 yards per carry, went over 100 yards in a game 5 times, added 9 touchdowns, and in his first 3 games of the season, don't forget he caught 10 passes for 167 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just an outstanding season all around, no matter what position he was playing.
Well, I think if you'll ask John Root about it, when he made the move, he wasn't expecting Cole to be a passing quarterback. That's Tyler Raymond's job, and he was very good at it. They had to simplify some of their routes and things like that because of Cole's lack of experience at the position. What he did bring to that offense was an edge. He was really hard-running player. He was kind of like the anti-Zach Grams for St. James, I think. He was the hard guy around the edges, opened up things for Jalen Anderson to get, blow things open, and along with John Meshie. So he was, if they would they have won 7 games with Tyler Raymond? That's hard to say. It would be, but it would have been a much different way of doing it.
Yeah, he contributed in one way or another to 29 of the 66 touchdowns that St. James scored this season. Congratulations to Cole Menas, the Inside Sports Offensive Football Player of the Year. Now, over on the defensive side, many players could be considered over there. I think Cam McClellan at Boonesboro, the linebacker, solid season all around. Dustin Fisher, just a sophomore at Clear Spring, certainly anchored that defense. Lincoln Akubu at South Hagerstown, first in the county in interceptions. Great job from his defensive back position. Reuben Brooks at Williamsport, the linebacker there, second in the county in tackles. Michael Craker from St. James, what a breakout season for the senior. I mean, he was solid last year, but 15 sacks this year to go along with 99 tackles. But then I drilled down, went to Zach Roop at South Hagerstown, the linebacker. Wasn't flashy. He was just super effective. He seemed to be in on every big play that South Hagerstown had to have made defensively, led the county in tackles.
Well, I think the play that really brought him to the forefront and maybe was his trademark for the rest of the season was the overtime win against South Carroll when they made the goal line stand and he was right in the middle of it. That's one of those, somebody's got to stick their nose in there and bury in there, and he was there, and he made the big play, helped make the big play, and that was one of those games where all those guys came out of there and they were just so pumped because they made this big stand, a young team in the fourth game of the year, or fifth game of the year, and I think that was the thing that was a part of the catalyst for that team.
Yeah, really set the tone going forward for South Hagerstown, the stingiest defense in the county in terms of points allowed, allowing just over 19 per game, and Roop a major part of that. Congratulations to Zach, our Defensive Player of the Year on Inside Sports. And I went with a different category here this year. I added one, X Factor player. And I think you could look at Colby Johnson at Smithsburg. I mean, these were basically guys who were, jacks of all trades, as it were. Johnson with a big year, running the ball, wasn't spectacular, but he threw a couple of touchdown passes. He also was big in the return game, and he had an interception that was a highlight reel interception early in the year that he brought back 85 yards for a touchdown. John Mechie at St. James, another guy who does a little bit of everything. Whenever he's called on to do it, he seems to excel in that area, whether it's running the ball, catching the football, running after the catch, returning kicks. Defensively, he returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns this season. Keegan Bowles at Boonesboro, who was the complement, the speed complement to the power that Zach Grams provided in the running game. And then he opened up the other dimension by catching the football, also had 4 interceptions this year. But when I came right down to it, another guy who was unlikely before the season started to get any type of award, Jake Arnone at Williamsport, a guy who had just returned from playing soccer to all of a sudden play football as a senior. He factored in almost every way possible.
I know when I was out there for one of the games, a couple of the coaches came up and said, what would this kid be like if he would have played all 4 years?
Yeah.
He was a great compliment to Williamsport. As a receiver, as a kicker, as a punter, and he played some defense too. But I mean, his receiving part, I think, when that was something that has been missing, I think, at Williamsport for the last few years. And now all of a sudden they got 3 guys that can really go out and had 3 guys that could really go out and catch the ball, and Arnone was the leader of that.
Yeah, he was a go-and-get-it type of receiver. If the ball was in the air, he was going to get it. He was at least going to knock it down, but led the county in receptions and receiving yards this season. Jake Arnone, our X-Factor Player of the Year. As far as the coach is concerned, this was a tough one for me between John Rutt at St. James, Clayton Andrews at Boonesboro, but when it came down to it, I looked at the strength of schedule and what Toby Pure at South Hagerstown had to work with and what he had coming back this year. Just a tremendous year to go 7-3. And he would tell you, I mean, this is a team that really grew up as the season went along, but I think a lot of credit has to go to him and his coaching staff.
Well, for Clayton and John, they both made big moves with their teams in order to get things going. I mean, Clayton goes to more of a power game with Grams. John made some changes defensively more as much as offensively, changing his defensive scheme. And all that stuff helped them, both of those teams. But the guy that really had to do a lot of stuff along the way was Toby, because Toby will tell you that this probably wasn't the most experienced team, and it probably wasn't the most talented one he's ever had, but it was the one that he enjoyed coaching the most because they were the most coachable. You know, he's had other teams that he admits that probably should have gone as far or farther than this one that didn't, but this was like a team that they just had everything pulled together and they fell into place.
Well, he said he would have to do more with less this season. and the plan came together. So congratulations to Toby Pierre, our Coach of the Year. And that does it for all of our awards. Bob, thanks so much for being here. Hey, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Thanks so much for watching this week. Our fall season is over with. We dive right into the winter previews next week. We'll see you then on The Inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets.